U.S. Lacrosse presents the 2013 Rule Interpretation DVD.
Thank you for taking the time to view and learn from this Rules Interpretation DVD. Whether you're an official, coach, or spectator, understanding the rules and enforcing them in a standardized way is a key component to keeping the women's game safe and fun for all its participants. U.S. Lacrosse is the only organization providing a comprehensive sport-specific official certification, and it represents the standard training designed to keep the game safe, fair, and fun. This DVD is just one of the many educational tools that the U.S. Lacrosse Officials Training and Education Program provides to its members. By watching this video, you've already taken an important step in raising your game, personally and within your region. A rule interpretation is merely one component of official certification. Completing the other requirements is essential to standardizing the quality of officiating on the field. Likewise, coaches, administrators, and parents must be good consumers of officiating services and only use those officials who have completed U.S. Lacrosse certification and demand at least 2 officials on every contest. All lacrosse participants have a responsibility to support the mission of U.S. Lacrosse, to inspire participation while protecting the integrity of the sport. To accompany and support the existing certification standards for coaches and officials, USL's established the Gold Stick Standards of Excellence for lacrosse leagues. With an emphasis on player safety and a positive playing experience, these operational guidelines set high but attainable standards for teams, leagues, and programs to establish the most impactful and fulfilling experience possible for their youth who play the sport of lacrosse. U.S. Lacrosse Gold Stick Standards of Excellence represent the best practices that should be incorporated by quality youth lacrosse programs, whether they are in established, well-resourced areas or serving emerging, less resourced communities. At their best, youth lacrosse programs provide young people with a safe environment in which to have fun, build character, learn sportsmanship, and develop life skills that help them become responsible adults. To learn more, please visit uslacrosse.org. This DVD also includes specific instruction regarding the Youth Rules Initiative, a comprehensive approach to providing youth at all levels with an appropriate set of rules by which to play, to maximize their development and love of the game. If you'd like any additional information on any of these programs, please visit uslacrosse.org. Thanks for all you give to the game and good luck with your season.
Major rule changes. Rule 1, the playing area. There have been a few changes to the playing area this year. A penalty area has been added. The penalty area is directly in front of the scorer's timer's table at the rear of the substitution area. A player serving a penalty must sit or kneel in this area. The team benches and coaches areas have been further clarified and defined. The team bench area should be at least 4 meters from the sideline and does not include the area behind the scorer's table. Coaching area. The coaching area should be at least 4 meters from the sideline and does not include the area behind the scorer's table. Rule 2, equipment and uniforms. NOCSI Ball Standard. Beginning January 1, 2014, NOCSI-approved balls must be used for play. NFHS stamped balls already meet this new requirement. Whenever possible, play with NFHS balls and remind teams that a NOCSI stamp will be required for 2014. The uniform specifications that were passed in 2008 will take effect this season. Team uniform violations. For team violations, the opponent shall be awarded a free position on the first draw of the game. This team infraction will not be further penalized during that game. Rule 3, game personnel. Captains. Officials will no longer ask for a speaking or acting captain. Any captain may speak for the team, and green cards will be recorded for the team. Pre-game meeting. Officials' pre-game expectations for the captains and coaches meeting have been established. All of these topics need to be covered in the pre-game meeting. Rule 4. Time factors and scoring. Possession timeout. A team in clear possession of the ball may now request a timeout. This may be requested by the head coach or any player on the field. A dead ball timeout may be requested through the scorer's table, and a horn will sound after a whistle has been blown to stop play. Rule 5. Play of the game. Suspended games. If a suspended game, one in which less than 80% of playing time has elapsed, is to be played on another day, it must be played from the point of interruption. See the rulebook for information regarding statistics, cards, and suspensions ejections for a suspended game. Out of bounds. For boundary calls that do not involve a penalty, the player with the ball will be placed 2 meters inside the boundary. Relative positioning shall apply. Rule 7. Penalty administration. Defensive goal circle violation. The penalty administration for defensive goal circle fouls other than the illegal deputy has changed. The free position will be taken at the 8-meter mark on the goal line extended. The offending player, except the goalkeeper, will go 4 meters behind her. This foul is no longer indirect. A penalty lane does not need to be cleared. Penalty area. Players receiving yellow or red cards will leave the field of play and kneel or sit in the penalty area for 2 minutes of elapsed playing time. No substitute may take her place. Early entry on a card. If any player enters the game before the penalty time has elapsed, she shall be removed from the field of play. If the player entering early is not the player who received the original card, the officials will send off the player who is closest to the substitution area. The player originally receiving the card will serve the remainder of her penalty time and an additional 2-minute penalty, and no substitute may take her place. A change of possession will take place at the spot of the ball if warranted, and a free position for a major foul will be awarded. Note that this is an extension of the penalty time and not an additional card. Bench decorum. If the head coach is administered a red card for the actions of bench personnel, both the head coach and offender must be removed from the game. Only one player shall be removed, and this counts as 1 card in the team card total. U9, U11 carding. At the U9 and U11 levels, when a player receives a yellow card, she must leave the field for 2 minutes of elapsed play. A substitute will take her place. Reporting of incidents. Any non-game incident before, during, or after play should be reported to the state per state guidelines. Manufacturer's specifications. Pocket stringing. Effective September 1, 2013, pockets may not be attached by looping over the top of the bottom rail or in decorative holes. Officials should look to see that the pocket is strung using dedicated stringing holes. Thongs must nominally be the same width along their full length. A second material may be used in close proximity to the scoop and the ball stop to allow attachment of each thong to the head. Bent shafts may only be used with heads that are specifically designed to accommodate them. Officials should utilize the table test to verify correct matching of heads and shafts. Signals. Cross in the sphere. A signal has been added to clarify a cross in the sphere call. The official should move her hand with an open palm over her head in an arching motion from one shoulder to the other. Points of emphasis. Offensive fouls. A player is entitled to her position on the field. too often, the defending player is unduly penalized for legally defending her space. Officials are instructed to pay particular attention to attacking players that gain an advantage by forcing their way into an established defender. Additionally, the defense must be allowed to legally check an opponent's cross. A foul should be called when the attack player pulls her cross in toward her head, body, to prevent defender who is in good defensive position from making a legal play on the ball. In this first clip, white number 1 is running hard into the critical scoring area. Number 4, red, moves to defend. Red gets to her position on the field first and has given the white player time and space to change direction, so it is the responsibility of white to avoid contact. Since white number 1 does not alter her path and runs into number 4, red, this is white's foul. Charging is called. In the second clip, the charge is not as obvious. Number 10, white, is moving the ball up the sideline and uses the legal pick set by her teammate. Watch as number 6, green, establishes legal defensive positioning. She has given white time and space to change direction. Instead of avoiding her, white initiates contact and leans into green, forcing her backwards. Note that the defense does not have to be stationary when defending. This is charging and should be called on white. Here, number 3, white, attempts to go around the blue defender, but pulls out when her pathway is blocked. Observe the second blue defender who has dropped in to help double team. As white attempts to drive to goal, the defenders legally close the space between themselves. Notice the defense does an excellent job of moving their feet and keeping their sticks in safe legal positions. White continues into the established double team and is called for forcing through because she is the one who created the contact. This next clip shows white number 22 positioned to channel the red attacker into a double team. Instead of changing direction, watch as red pulls the ball into her body and sphere, making a legal check impossible. Be sure to look for attack players who pull the stick into an illegal position to avoid a check by the defense, especially when they are double or triple teamed. Lack of body control by an offensive player often leads to a charge and may take place with or without the ball. Umpires need to be vigilant to see a play through to completion. Number 3, green, charges after her shot. If this shot had scored, the goal would not count. Play resumes with a free position for number 13, white, 8 meters away from goal circle with number 3, green, behind. Dangerous use of stick. The illegal and dangerous use of the stick includes, but is not limited to, forcing, pushing, or displacing an attack player with the shaft of the stick, slashing, checking towards the body, dangerous follow-through, checks to the head, and hitting the opponent deliberately. Illegal play in the sphere must be closely monitored for safety. Defensive players checking towards, through, and into the sphere and offensive players who shoot without regard to the defense are creating a dangerous situation. Officials are instructed to be particularly vigilant in recognizing these actions as fouls, call them immediately, and card appropriately. On an 8-meter free position, the green defender finds herself in poor defensive position. As the attacker shoots, the defender uses the shaft of the stick to deliberately push the shooter across the back. The defender has no legal play on the ball, yet chooses to use her stick on the attack player's back. A card for dangerous play should be strongly considered. In this clip, number 12, black, is transitioning up the field as number 24, white, slides her hands together and takes a big swipe at black's stick from behind. The swing is hard, intimidating, and not controlled as evidenced by the follow-through. This is dangerous and play must be stopped. A card must be issued for a slash. Watch blue number 8 as she does a great job of picking up white number 10 when she rolls the crease. Blue maintains her marking distance within a stick's length. White executes a jump shot and follows through into the defender's head. She correctly receives a card for a dangerous follow-through. The contact with the defender's head can clearly be seen in slow motion. White number 2 has beaten both number 7 and number 24 red as she drives to goal. A third defender is in shooting space, which is not called. Instead of using good body positioning to force white into her waiting teammate, number 24 red reaches across white's head and neck with her arm and stick. Although this is not a check to the head, a card should be given for dangerous play. Number 20 white makes a strong move to goal past number 9 and number 17 green. She shoots and hits number 12 green, who is obstructing the free space to goal. While number 12 is in an illegal position, the onus is always on the shooter to shoot safely. This should be called as offsetting fouls, obstruction of free space to goal against number 12 green, and dangerous propelling against number 20 white. Number 20 white should be given a yellow card, removed from the game, and play resumed with a throw. Repetitive fouls. Officials need to recognize and properly penalize individuals or teams committing repetitive violations. In addition to awarding the opponent a free position, employment of game management skills such as warning and/or carding must be considered and used appropriately for the safety and integrity of the game. As the play progresses, notice that 4 fouls are being committed as the ball is carried from the 40-yard line to behind the goal. Cross-check, reach across the body, dangerous check, and another cross-check. 3 by the same player. The official holds to advantage on the first foul, whistles the second foul, and there is no indication that can be seen on the third foul. The fourth foul draws a whistle and a card. While none of these fouls were necessarily reckless or rough enough to warrant a card by themselves, the repetitiveness of the fouling does correctly draw a card. Watch the play again and consider applying other management skills that may result in a different outcome. Since the first defender commits 3 fouls in a row, all of which involve dangerous play, it could also be appropriate to card her prior to getting to the fourth foul. If the first foul had been whistled instead of held, the second and third fouls might not have occurred. The defender's actions would have been clearly identified as inappropriate, which sends a stronger, clearer message and may have changed her behavior. Safety of the players is always the umpire's first concern. Umpires should use their tools of whistles, warnings, and cards to keep the game safe and fair. Rule clarifications. Running clock. If running time is used because of a 10-goal differential, the clock will continue to run after goals and in the last 2 minutes of each half. It will be stopped on timeouts. In youth-level games and games predetermined to be running due to league or tournament rules, the same conditions apply, except that the clock will stop on every whistle in the last 2 minutes of each half, unless the game is being played with a central horn. Ten-second goalkeeper count. Should the 10-second goalkeeper count have to stop for any reason, such as if her team calls a possession timeout, when play resumes, the official will continue the count from where she left off before play was stopped. Clearing the arc. After the player taking the free position has been placed on a hash mark and the offender 4 meters behind, the players remaining in the arc will take the shortest route out of the arc and maintain position relative to one's position inside the arc. Modified goal. Youth teams playing without a goalkeeper may turn the goal cage on its long end, leaving the triangle for the opening. Cleared and played. When the goalkeeper receives the ball in the goal circle and throws it out with her cross, that means the ball has been cleared. When it is then touched or her cross has been checked by another player, it has been played. All eyewear must be listed on the U.S. Lacrosse website, which indicates that it has been tested by an accredited testing facility approved by U.S. Lacrosse. Areas of concern. Officials' responsibility. All officials are responsible for reading and abiding by the Code of Ethics and Conflict of Interest policies in the Officials Policies Manual. Failure to do so can prompt a grievance procedure, which can adversely affect your official certification and ability to take games. Initiated checks versus incidental contact. At all levels of play, officials need to determine if contact to the head was incidental or not, and whether it is initiated by the defense or by the attack. Checks to the head must be carded. Incidental contact with the head should not be, and the defense should not be penalized when the attack initiates the contact. Thank you for watching the 2013 USL Rule Interpretation DVD. Good luck in your season!